At last conversation, we broke down the name applied health and performance science into its root pieces. So, applied health, it has several dimensions of wellness, from physical to occupational to social to mental. There's many aspects. We think about applied health as the foundation. Within performance science, there's also many different aspects, from physiology to biomechanics to sport pedagogy to all the different aspects of data science from a management standpoint to an engineering of visuals, of transformation of data to just simple data collection and cleaning. So there's so many different aspects to this. So in order to scale services and to make things repeatable and realistic, our plan has 3 different levels of services, and ideally would start every single team, every department that engages with us at level 1, and then over time scale to level 1 and 2. And then finally, at a point of maturation, we have level 1 involvement, level 2 involvement, and then level 3 involvement. Let's look at the different types of levels. So as I had mentioned, we break it into 3 levels. And this allows us to scale services over time. The challenge is if we go too fast or provide too much too quickly, we create unrealistic services that we can't sustain over time. So at the beginning, we break it down into level 1, learning and development. That is an area in our field of teaching athletes, teaching coaches, bringing synergy to everyone around development. The next level, level 2, is all about management of performance, finding repeatability in scheduling, templates from a training standpoint to a planning standpoint, annual plans, block plans, daily plans, anything like that. Overall training audits, things like that, performance management. And then level 3, we want to create objectivity so that we can make decisions based upon what we're seeing within our athletes. And we call that technology and data services. Okay, let's go back to level 1. If we have teams that engage in level 1 involvement with applied health and performance science, we would ideally like them to start with simply being engaged in Microsoft Teams. We have a team ecosystem in Microsoft Teams for every single one of our sports at Penn State University. It's a free service, a free shell where all communication within the team can occur. All documents and resources can be stored within SharePoint, and then all staff members at different levels of permissions can access that. And essentially, it is a hub for building relics over time, a central storage location, so that as staff move and go, things don't disappear with them like data. Things don't disappear with them like travel logistics and planning or training templates from the weight room. It is an entire ecosystem for us to grow. Also, as I mentioned here, Performance Hub is a connection where we've got every single one of our performance members, from strength to athletic training to administration to performance psychology, sports science. All of our different people come together so we can share and information and learn from one another. Okay, athlete, staff, coaching, education, and that kind of goes with Performance School, Performance Academy, and our internship program. We want to pump as much information out as possible so that we all are upskilling our toolbox. Okay, so if we put out content about health, we put out content about sleep, put out content about just being a better person or athlete, that's performance, learning, and development. That's in this area, and it essentially costs us nothing. Okay. When we think down here toward the bottom, it's LTAD, or long-term athlete development strategies, and individualized athlete development plans. This really speaks to athlete learning, development over time. Within this learning and development space, we should be looking at where did athletes come in? What are maybe some of the measurables right away that we have that are not really at a high cost in terms of time or resources? But then where do we want them to go? What is their trajectory over time? And then that conversation leads to more learning and development with the athlete and with the coaching staff. And then finally, we do build out some of our internship. We have built out some of our internship opportunities. So engagement and learning and development, we can deploy some of our interns interns from across campus to be a part of building out learning experiences for our teams. So at the very beginning, when a team comes on board and starts working with us, we want to start them at level 1, learning and development. Be engaged in Microsoft Teams. It's already available. Be engaged with the community, talk with other coaches, talk with other staff members on our crew, and then let us come be a part of conversations around health and performance. Or if it's not us talking, maybe a certain team doesn't necessarily want us interfacing on a one-on-one level, let us get information to you so that you can tailor it to the needs of a team. Okay, so after level 1, we go to level 2. It's all about performance management. It's a little bit more engagement, a little bit more resources allocated to our teams, but it's all about maximizing this high performance culture. Okay, so we created the high performance group within Microsoft Teams to create synergy, to create communication, to share, and to maintain the fidelity of our information. Once we get to performance management, that's where our group and all groups can be involved in more intentional meetings. We start to talk about the calendar from an annual plan perspective to a month plan, block plan, weekly plan, or even a day plan. You start to really take the information from all the units, put it together, bring synergy, and to make decisions upon that. And this area too is all about periodization. It's looking at planning over time. How does all the different groups come together and how does it influence one another? We're just a big ecosystem in itself. So every decision I make in one department influences everybody. This performance management piece and looking at it from that lens, from a tactical lens, a tactical periodization lens, where we're all coming together, allows us to make really good decisions. Also within this area is just overall, frameworks for efficiency. If we have a framework on how we do things over time, now the guts inside the framework can change, but the framework or a template over time allows us to be more efficient the next time we do things over time. It's all about decision making here. So when I've got to level 2, I'm involved in learning and development, always learning, growing from a staff perspective and scaling it to my student athletes. But then level 2 allows me to get even more in the weeds with planning, even more in the weeds with building out things that are reproducible over time. Now, the last level, once we get to level 3, we start to deploy more advanced technology, more advanced data streams. And what this allows us to do is to run it back down to performance management. And as we plan, as we evaluate, we use our information, our objective data that we've collected from level 3 involvement and put it in that plan so we can make even more informed decisions. At this level 2, if a team is working on a level 3 perspective, we're also looking at ongoing performance testing, benchmarking and profiling of athletes. Where does an athlete today stand in relation to the team, in relation to maybe a national average or a performance norm within that group? We start thinking about more advanced data management strategies at this level 2. And I will say at this level, as all these levels, it can't just be coming from our department. As a small department, we rely so heavily on our wonderful colleagues in strength conditioning, athletic training, people that are there every single day. But when we start to break it down into learning and development, performance management, and tech systems, you can see how this can become sustainable over time. Now, not every team at every single point of the year may be interested in all these different areas. But when we think about it from this perspective, it allows us to scale our services. It allows us essentially to have everybody involved in performance on the same page in terms of what a high performance environment could potentially look like. So going back to the name, Applied Health and Performance Science, Applied Health, it exists as the foundation. We want to teach health first. And then our performance science piece, that's just creating objectivity, being able to measure, being able to assess, creating reproducibility and repeatability in what we do so that we can chase elite performance, high performance. We want to create synergy. It's all of our responsibility to create synergy. Let's do that.